The dust motes danced in a shaft of light, slicing through the ruins, ancient stones whispering stories of empires lost and forgotten. It's a haunting image, isn't it? A reminder that even the grandest achievements eventually crumble. But what if those crumbling walls hold more than just the echoes of past glory? For 2,000 years, humanity has wrestled with a single book, Revelation, not for its prophecies of doom, necessarily, but for its sheer intensity. It's a world painted in fire and judgment, populated by beasts and angels, a landscape of unimaginable suffering and ultimate triumph. Yet, it feels strangely familiar, doesn't it? Like glimpsing a distorted reflection of our own anxieties about the future. John wrote these words under immense pressure, facing persecution for his faith. Amidst the brutal reign of Nero, he wasn't predicting a specific date. He was channeling a desperate hope, a fierce conviction that even in the darkest times, something enduring could prevail. He spoke to those who felt utterly powerless, trapped within systems of oppression and injustice. Think about that for a moment. The context is crucial. This wasn't just a book for scholars or theologians. It was a lifeline for believers facing annihilation. And their fears weren't entirely unfounded. Empires rose and fell. Betrayals shattered communities. And darkness seemed to perpetually threaten to engulf the world. The language itself is deliberately jarring. Apocalyptic imagery designed to shock, to awaken a sense of urgency. It's filled with metaphors that demand interpretation. Symbols layered upon symbols, creating a complex tapestry of meaning. But what exactly is that meaning? Consider the sheer scale of the book. 7 churches receiving individual messages, seals being broken, trumpets blaring warnings. Each element seems to point towards a catastrophic shift in the cosmic order. Yet, woven through these scenes of destruction is an undeniable thread of hope. The core of Revelation isn't simply about predicting the end. It's about recognizing the imminent possibility of one, and understanding what that means for those who remain. It's a call to faithfulness in the face of overwhelming odds, a reminder that even when everything seems lost, there's always something worth fighting for. So, let's ask ourselves, if this book was written to a persecuted community facing imminent destruction, what anxieties might they have been grappling with? And are those anxieties still relevant today? What does it mean to face uncertainty, not just as individuals, but as a species teetering on the brink of monumental change? The kaleidoscope of symbols from the previous section swirls together. The Lamb, the Beast, the 7 churches. Each represents a facet of a struggle that has echoed throughout human history. Power versus righteousness, order versus chaos, control versus liberation. But interpreting these images isn't about finding a single, definitive answer. It's about understanding how they function within the narrative as a whole. The common thread running through Revelation is not simply apocalyptic destruction, but a profound critique of injustice. The repeated pronouncements against those who oppress and exploit, the harlots indulging in excess, the false prophets leading astray, reveal a deep concern for ethical leadership and societal well-being. These aren't just abstract condemnations. They're warnings about the dangers of unchecked ambition and moral decay. Consider the imagery associated with the seals. Each one represents a stage of escalating suffering, famine, disease, war, natural disasters. Yet, even amidst these horrors, there's a persistent sense of divine judgment, a reminder that actions have consequences. It's a powerful illustration of the interconnectedness between human choices and their impact on the world around us. The challenge lies in moving beyond a purely literal reading. The book is replete with symbolic language, deliberately designed to provoke reflection rather than offer concrete predictions. Trying to map every detail onto specific historical events can be misleading and ultimately misses the point. Instead, we must recognize Revelation's literary structure. It's not a chronological prophecy, but a layered allegory, utilizing imagery drawn from Jewish tradition, Daniel being a prime example, to convey timeless truths about human nature and the divine plan. The author uses vivid metaphors to explore universal concepts of good versus evil and the struggle for justice. It's tempting to dismiss it as fantastical, divorced from reality, but isn't that precisely what makes it so compelling? It dares to confront uncomfortable questions about our own moral failings and the potential consequences of our actions. Now, let's pause and consider this. If these symbols, the beasts, the churches, the trumpets, represent enduring patterns of human behavior and societal dynamics, how do we apply them to the complexities of our world today? What echoes of Revelation can we discern in the challenges we face, from political corruption to environmental degradation? Does the book's emphasis on judgment imply a call for personal responsibility, or simply a condemnation of systemic injustice? It's a question that demands careful consideration. The weight of judgment hangs heavy in Revelation's imagery, a constant reminder that actions have consequences, both individual and collective. But this isn't a simple tale of reward and punishment. It's a complex exploration of accountability within a cosmic framework. The book doesn't simply state that injustice will be met with retribution, but rather illuminates the nature of that retribution, a restoration of balance, a return to righteousness. This raises a crucial question. If Revelation speaks of divine judgment, does it inherently suggest a predetermined fate, or is it perhaps an invitation to actively shape our own destiny? The imagery of the New Jerusalem, a city built on foundations of gold and precious stones, suggests a future not dictated by external forces, but created through conscious effort and virtuous living. The diversity within the 7 churches, each receiving a specific message tailored to its unique challenges, highlights this point. There's no single blueprint for success. Rather, Revelation emphasizes the importance of embracing one's individual strengths and confronting personal weaknesses. It's a call for authenticity and self-awareness, urging believers to live lives that align with their values. Yet, alongside these messages of hope and encouragement, there remains an undeniable undercurrent of warning. The repeated depictions of destruction, the grinding of mountains, the splitting of the sea, serve as stark reminders of the fragility of human endeavors and the potential for catastrophic loss. It's a sobering perspective that prevents any simplistic notions of inevitable triumph. Consider the recurring motif of blood, spilled blood symbolizing sacrifice, suffering, and ultimately redemption. This isn't just about physical violence. It represents the shedding of ego, attachment, and worldly desires, the necessary steps towards spiritual transformation. The book's power lies in its ability to grapple with these seemingly contradictory elements: hope amidst despair, judgment alongside mercy, destruction alongside restoration. It challenges us to confront the uncomfortable reality that goodness and evil often coexist, and that true progress requires a willingness to acknowledge both. Now, let's consider this further. If Revelation offers such a profound perspective on human responsibility, on shaping our own future through moral choices, how do we translate these ancient principles into the context of contemporary life? Can we discern echoes of Revelation's themes in the ethical dilemmas we face today? In matters of social justice, environmental stewardship, and personal integrity, how can we apply its message to build a more just and compassionate world? Not by predicting the future, but by shaping it through our actions. The persistent question returns: is Revelation a prophecy of inevitable doom, or a call to action, a blueprint for resisting it? The very act of interpreting the book seems to shift its meaning, depending on the lens through which we view it. Literalists see a chronological timetable. Symbolicists focus on timeless principles. Yet both approaches ultimately struggle to fully capture the text's profound complexity. A key to unlocking Revelation's enduring appeal lies in recognizing that John wasn't simply predicting what would happen, but why. The book is fundamentally concerned with exposing the underlying structures of power, the corrupting influence of materialism, the seductive allure of false idols, and the dangers of unchecked authority. It's a critique of systems designed to exploit and oppress, not just a chronicle of impending disasters. The imagery of the beast, often interpreted as representing Rome, serves as a potent symbol of this oppressive force. But beyond its historical context, the beast embodies any system that seeks to dominate and control, regardless of its specific form or era. This broader understanding allows us to connect Revelation's warnings to contemporary issues: the rise of authoritarianism, the dangers of unchecked corporate power, and the erosion of democratic values. Consider the concept of spiritual warfare, a recurring theme throughout the book. It suggests that the battle between good and evil isn't confined to the physical realm. It plays out in the hearts and minds of individuals, and within societies as a whole. This perspective shifts the focus from passive acceptance of fate to active engagement in the struggle for justice and righteousness. However, this active engagement shouldn't be mistaken for simplistic heroism. Revelation doesn't offer easy solutions or guaranteed victories. It acknowledges the inherent difficulties of resisting powerful forces, the inevitable sacrifices required, the persistent setbacks encountered. Along the way, the New Jerusalem, often seen as a utopian paradise, is not presented as a flawless destination, but as a process of ongoing creation and refinement. Its foundations are built on suffering and perseverance, highlighting that true transformation requires embracing both joy and sorrow, hope and disillusionment. It's a reminder that the pursuit of justice is never finished. It's an eternal striving towards a more perfect world. Now let's contemplate this. If Revelation reveals not a fixed timeline, but a persistent struggle against injustice, a battle waged within ourselves and throughout society, how does this shift our understanding of responsibility? Does it demand that we become active participants in shaping the future, or merely passive observers awaiting inevitable destruction? And perhaps most importantly, how do we reconcile the book's often dramatic imagery with the quiet, persistent work required to build a more just and compassionate world? The echoes of Revelation's warnings resonate, a persistent reminder that the forces of injustice and oppression are not merely historical relics, but enduring threats. Yet, amidst these anxieties, there remains an undeniable current of hope, the promise of a new Jerusalem, a world founded on righteousness, peace, and justice. But this isn't a passive expectation. It's an active creation, a testament to the power of human agency in shaping our shared destiny. Revelation ultimately offers not a prediction of what will be, but a blueprint for how we should strive to live. It's a call to cultivate virtues, faithfulness, love, humility, not as abstract ideals, but as practical tools for navigating the complexities of our own lives and engaging with the world around us. The book's emphasis on personal responsibility shouldn't be interpreted as individualistic ambition. However, it's inherently intertwined with a commitment to social justice and collective well-being. Consider the recurring motif of witnessing. John is repeatedly urged to bear witness, to proclaim truth, even in the face of persecution. This isn't simply about spreading religious doctrine. It's about speaking out against injustice wherever it exists, challenging power structures, advocating for marginalized communities, and holding individuals accountable for their actions. The book's enduring appeal lies precisely in its ability to transcend specific historical contexts, while simultaneously grounding itself in the realities of human experience. It speaks to a fundamental yearning, a desire for meaning, purpose, and justice that has resonated across cultures and generations. The symbols may be enigmatic, the imagery dramatic, but the core message is remarkably simple. Choose love over hate, hope over despair, righteousness over corruption. Perhaps the greatest challenge presented by Revelation isn't understanding its prophecies, but embracing its underlying ethos, a commitment to persistent striving, unwavering faith, and active engagement in creating a better world. It demands that we move beyond mere intellectual assent and translate our beliefs into tangible action. Ultimately, the Book of Revelation is not an ending, it's a beginning, a call to join the ongoing process of building a new Jerusalem, one brick at a time, one act of compassion at a time, one voice raised in defiance of injustice at a time. It's a testament to the enduring power of hope, even amidst the darkest of times, a final, compelling invitation to shape our own destiny and contribute to a future worthy of that name. Let us not merely read these words, but live them. This video has come to an end, but the discovery continues. Check out more content on the channel and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you for watching.